Benjamin, the first prince of Kakin, is the eldest son of Nasubi and his wife Queen Unma. Not only is he a prince, he's also the deputy military advisor of the Kakin Royal Army. As the eldest son, he's got solid political clout and control over the Royal Army, making him the top contender for the throne, and the biggest target in the war. His aggressiveness is shown when he was introduced wrestling a lion with his bare hands, and then brutally crushing its throat out of anger when his younger brother taunted him. His confidence borders on arrogance, and his siblings see him as the biggest threat. Once Benjamin learns about the guardian spirit beast from Kurapika's announcement, he quickly deploys his soldiers to act as bodyguards for the other princes, and to gather intel on their beasts to get an edge. Benjamin can also use Nen, and his ability Benjamin Baton is very useful. He can inherit the Nen abilities of his soldiers when they die, but there are some conditions. They must have graduated from the Kakin Royal Military Academy, be part of his private army, and have sworn loyalty to him. The ability shows up as 4 stars on his right palm, directly under his fingers. If one of his soldiers dies while using their Nen, he inherits their abilities and gets control of their power. He can even take it if the original user loses control of it. It's unclear if he can take abilities from all of his soldiers or just 4 of them, given the stars on his hand. But so far, he's inherited 3 abilities from his fallen soldiers. Air Blow from Vincent, who poisoned himself when he was restrained by Kurapika and Bill. Secret Window from Moose, who was killed by Prince Camila, and Cold Sept from Shikaku, who met his demise at the hands of Prince Hackenberg. His Nen ability aside, his Ken is also no joke, as it allowed him to tank multiple bullets without a single scratch when Camila opens fire on him, while the same gun seriously injured one of his soldiers. Besides Ken, he can also use Ten, Ren, and Hatsu. Additionally, Benjamin's guardian spirit beast is still lurking in the background, and we haven't seen its full potential yet. Camila is the second prince of the Kakin Empire, and the daughter of King Nasubi's second wife, Queen D'Azul. On the surface, she seems charming and elegant, but just like her older brother Benjamin, she's especially arrogant and cold-hearted. She's also a big spender, obsessed with buying luxury, branded, and limited edition items. She's pretty self-absorbed, and doesn't really show respect to anyone except her father. She once ordered her own mother to kill her younger biological brother, showing how little restraint she really has. While Benjamin controls the Kakin military, Camila has a different kind of support. She's backed by the have-nots, the lowest class of people in the Kakin Empire who aren't allowed to hold public office or join the military. She gained their loyalty by letting some of them join her private guard and giving them privileges, even building a special district on her property for them. Her plan for the Succession War is to use them to inflict Nen curses on her other siblings, once certain conditions are met, in hopes of taking them all out in one fell swoop. Camila is also a strong Nen user, and her ability is tied to postmortem Nen, that she uses in her powerful ability called Cat's Name, which only activates if she's killed. When that happens, a giant cat-like Nen beast appears behind her killer, squashes them, and drains their life force, completely destroying their body. The cat then transfers the energy to its glowing tail and pours it into Camilla's mouth, healing her and bringing her back to life. She used this Nen ability when she tried to assassinate Benjamin, but got shot by his soldier Moose. After she died, her cat took Moose out and brought her back to life. This ability makes her almost unkillable, but there's a catch. It only works if she dies first, so she can't stop herself from getting hurt unless someone actually tries to kill her. Benjamin figures this out and orders his men specifically not to kill her. Instead, one of his soldiers restrains her, breaks her arm, and throws her in jail, exposing the flaw in her seemingly unbeatable ability. Because of this, both Camila and Benjamin end up standing trial before the Supreme Magistrate, Camila for killing Moose, and Benjamin for possibly ordering her assassination. The magistrate orders both of them to be confined to the VVIP area and put under surveillance. Meanwhile, Benjamin secretly uses Moose's Nen ability, Secret Window, on Camila, so he can spy on her from a distance without her even knowing. The ability of her guardian spirit beast has yet to be shown, but it's said to be some kind of manipulation ability. Zang Lee is the third prince of the Kakin Empire, and the son of King Nasubi's third wife, Tang Zhao Li. Along with the royal family, a few of Kakin's mafia families are also in the mix in the Succession War, fighting each other to back their sponsors and push their own agendas. One of the big mafia groups in Kakin's underworld is the Zhiyu family, and they're affiliated with Zang Lee. While Benjamin and Camila are focused on eliminating their other siblings to win, Zang Lee has a more grounded approach. He's somewhat of a pacifist and he doesn't want to kill, but if he has to, he won't hesitate. He can be both kind and cruel. He treats people with respect and courtesy, and makes it clear that he's not in the succession contest because he really wants to be. That said, he's not above joining forces with the mafia to get some extra muscle. Zang Lee believes that a true king should know how to use both the light and the dark sides of society. Unlike his older siblings, he doesn't seem to have any nen abilities himself, but his guardian spirit beast could help in this area for him. It's a conjurer type beast that spits out a coin every day. It's theorized that whoever holds the coin gets certain abilities after meeting some conditions, and their power grows over time, indicated by the increasing number on the coin. Zang Lee thinks the coins will become a game changer once he's king, though right now they aren't very useful. He's the only one of the Kakin princes who's paid attention to how the last succession contest went down, and is following his father Nasubi's strategy, playing the long game. He's letting the others take themselves out while he plans ahead. His patient approach is the exact opposite of his more aggressive siblings Benjamin and Camila, who are itching to make the first move. Tserriednich is the fourth prince of the Kakin Empire, and the younger son of his father's first wife, Unma. He used to be tied to the Heoli family, one of Kakin's biggest mafia groups headed by Morena Prudhoe, but he cut them off after Morena tried to make a move against him. Despite his calm smile and polite behavior, Tserriednich is a total sociopath. He takes pleasure in gruesome killings, especially targeting young women, and has a twisted hobby of collecting human body parts, including several pairs of the Kurta clan's Scarlet Eyes. Being in possession of the remaining Scarlet Eyes, he's the main reason why Kurapika decided to join the Zodiacs and enlist as a bodyguard for a Kakin prince, so he could get close to the fourth prince. Tserriednich is actually thrilled by the chance of killing his siblings, whom he sees as nothing more than garbage, though he gets along pretty well with 9th Prince Hackenberg. While aboard the Black Whale 1, he got interested in nen after hearing Kurapika mention the guardian spirit beasts. He started training under his bodyguard Theta, who was stunned at how quickly he picked it up, realizing he's a natural nen genius. When he accused Theta of lying about the time it takes to learn nen basics, his creepy looking nen beast stepped in, watching her closely and scratching her cheek as a warning. His spirit beast's full abilities aren't very clear yet, but one thing is for sure, it can tell when someone's lying. Whenever Tserriednich asks a question, the beast moves in close to the person and judges their response. If it thinks they're telling the truth, it backs off, but if it senses a lie, it leaves a cut on them. If they lie again, the cut turns into a nasty wound. What happens on the third lie is still a mystery. Like other guardian spirit beasts, Tserriednich's beast can move through walls and neutralize incoming threats. The beast disappears when Tserriednich is in Zetsu and isn't providing aura. But with his insane amount of aura, the beast reappears the moment he relaxes his Zetsu. After a short time of learning nen, Tserriednich develops his own ability called Parallel Future, which is a specialist ability. When he closes his eyes and activates Zetsu, he gets a vision of the next 10 seconds. It's like time freezes for a moment while he gets this glimpse into the future. If he keeps his eyes closed after the 10 seconds, time resumes as normal, but he continues seeing 10 seconds ahead in a kind of split reality, one where he sees the future and the present side by side. During his training, he foresaw Theta trying to shoot him in the head, allowing him to dodge the shot and surprise her. With this new ability, he's confident he can master Zetsu and use it to dominate the succession contest, and eventually the entire world. Toppa is the 5th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the daughter of King Nasubi's second wife, Queen d'Azul. She's a scientist with a no-nonsense personality, and likes to carefully analyze her siblings' strengths and weaknesses to win the throne. She has no love for her older siblings, Benjamin, Camila, and Zang Lee, and is planning to get rid of them since she can't stand their qualities. She has her own vision for the kingdom, and once she takes the throne, she plans to spare her younger siblings. When Kurapika announces the existence of nen beasts, Toppa takes it as a sign that he's aiming for a truce and gets curious about him. Later, she agrees to send 2 of her bodyguards to learn nen from Kurapika, telling them to try and form an alliance with him within 2 weeks, even though Kurapika is working for Prince Wobble. Toppa's guardian spirit beast is a transmuter type, with a collaborative ability that needs a research partner to work, which might explain why she's eager to team up with Kurapika. Her beast can synthesize all sorts of drugs and chemicals inside of its body with various effects. Since her beast is cautious, just like her, it avoids showing up around Benjamin's soldiers, who Toppa suspects are behind her siblings' deaths. On the 10th day of the voyage, Kurapika finally agrees to work with Toppa through her bodyguard Long Hee. Tyson is the 6th prince of Kakin, and the older daughter of King Nasubi's 4th wife Katrono. Unlike most of the other princes, she's completely against the idea of a death match and always preaches love and peace. Even though the succession contest is pretty brutal, she's super confident she can win it without resorting to violence. She's a laid-back person who loves being around attractive men, and she actually picked her bodyguards based on how handsome they were. She hires Uzanavi as one of her bodyguards for the trip to the Dark Continent, and shortly after they set off, she gives him and the other guards copies of her book, titled The Book of Tyson. She's convinced it could bring about world peace. Tyson is head over heels for her bodyguards and is super possessive, so much so that she refuses to let the Hunter Association screen them, and doesn't send any of them to learn Nen from Kurapika. She even threw one of them a surprise birthday party, since they wouldn't get to celebrate it before his contract ended. While Tyson doesn't know how to use Nen yet, she has her guardian spirit beast to help her. The heart-shaped creature floats above her, and creates little eyewogs that attach to anyone who's read her book. The eyewogs collect aura, and give happiness in return, and how happy they get depends on how much of the book they've read. But if anyone breaks the one big rule of her teachings, they'll get punished. All of her bodyguards except Uzunavi seem to have been influenced by the book, changing to fit her ideal descriptions. Izunavi figures out that Tyson's book is tied to her spirit beast's power, and he suggests giving a copy to the king, hoping it might turn him into a peace-loving guy and end the war. Izunavi also theorizes that all the aura being collected by the heart-shaped spirit beast can be used for some kind of spirit bomb attack like from Dragon Ball Z, which is how he described it verbatim. Luzurus is the 7th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the son of King Nasubi's second wife, Duazul. He's affiliated with the Cha-Ar family, one of the big 3 mafia families in the empire, headed by Brocco Lee. We don't know too much about Luzurus' personality, but it seems like he's not as sharp as the other siblings, as seen when he sent his soldiers to take the hunter exam with assassination in mind, without realizing there could be a lie detector test. Of course the lie detectors caught their intentions, and they all failed. Since his guards couldn't pass the hunter exam, he ended up posting one of the anonymous listings on Kakin's website for bodyguards. Basho applies, and agrees to protect him during the Dark Continent trip. Luzurus seems pretty nonchalant and level-headed on the surface. That being said, he still wants to win. After talking with his guards, he finds out it takes almost a year to even see Nen, and he sticks to his original plan of targeting his older half-sister Toppa. He also seems to have a thoughtful side. When he learns about Basho's clean leaf, a drug made from an undisclosed plant that can be used recreationally or therapeutically, he wonders if it can be used to help rehabilitate drug addicts. As for his guardian spirit beast, we haven't seen its full power yet, but it's said to be a conjurer type that employs a kind of pseudo-coercive manipulation. It can set traps by materializing whatever the target desires as bait. Once the target satisfies their desire, the trap is triggered, and the ability kicks in. Seeing as how spirit beasts are reflections of their princes, this could hint at the possibility that Luzurus is simply playing dumb and letting his siblings underestimate him, waiting for the right moment to show his true colors. Salis is the 8th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the only child of King Nasubi's 5th wife, Swinko. He's a total womanizer, and is always surrounded by attractive young women who are barely dressed. He's all about partying and indulgence. When we first see him on the Black Whale 1, he's throwing a huge party in his room, and seems to ignore the Succession War completely. He's barely ever dressed himself, lounging around with tons of food and drinks scattered everywhere, while his mother and guards simply watch. His mother eventually confronts him, trying to get him to take the war seriously, but he just brushes it off, and promises he'll, quote, change the world at the banquet by performing a rap number. Meanwhile, Benjamin's soldier Rihan is secretly keeping an eye on Salis' guardian spirit beast. His Nen beast is a manipulator type and releases white smoke from its mouth. The smoke can sway anyone who inhales it to be more loyal to Salis. How much smoke it releases depends on how stressed he is, but it usually covers about a 7-meter radius. After someone breathes in enough smoke, a little clone of the Nen beast appears above their head and spreads even more smoke, turning that person into a walking infected carrier who can make others fall under Salis' influence too. The more somebody already likes Salis, the faster they get affected. People who are loyal to him will be swayed in about 8 hours, while those who don't care about him take around 70 hours. Rihan realizes that if left unchecked, Salis' power could turn the Kakin Empire into an unstoppable dictatorship. Knowing this, he swaps with Yusoshi, who ends up assassinating Salis. His death is kept a secret from the public, and his absence from the banquet is explained away as him being too sick to perform. Hackenberg is the 9th prince of Kakin, and the son of King Nasubi's second wife, Duazul. He doesn't get along with his mother or biological sisters, Camila and Toppa, and the only person he gets along with in the family is with his half-brother Tserriednich. Unlike Tserriednich though, Hackenberg is a pacifist. He wants no part in the bloodshed of this war, and refuses to win the throne by killing his siblings. His guardian spirit beast marks his loyal subordinates, including himself, with a pinion on their hands. This pinion secretly awakens their Nen. And when they gather together, their combined aura is so powerful it causes a rumbling. Hackenberg sends 2 of his bodyguards to learn Nen from Kurapika, hoping to uncover more about his Nen beast abilities. When one of his half-siblings dies, it hits him hard. He ends up confronting his father, pointing a gun at him and demanding he stop the contest. But Nasubi's Nen beast steps in and stops the bullet mid-air. Realizing he failed, Hackenberg tries to shoot himself, but his guardian spirit beast saves him by catching the bullet. His father convinces him that in order to create the change that he wants, he needs to seize power by winning the Succession War. Hackenberg reluctantly agrees, realizing it's the only way forward. This new resolve leads him to awakening his Nen ability, Possession Arrow. With it, he can channel the aura of his loyal subordinates to create an impenetrable armor, and a powerful arrow that can pierce any defense. He transmutes his aura into a bow, and fires the arrow with a guaranteed hit. The catch is, if the arrow somehow misses, he will die. When the arrow strikes the target, the soul of one of his subordinates transfers into the target's body, leaving the subordinate in a coma until the target dies, at which point their soul returns. Hackenberg is still figuring out the full extent of his new power, but he's becoming more determined to master it, and slowly becoming one of the bigger threats in the war. Kaichou is the 10th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the older twin sister of Fugetsu. She's the daughter of King Nasubi's 6th wife, Seiko, and one of the 6 princes who put up anonymous listings for bodyguards. Melody applies to her listing and gets hired to protect her on the voyage. At first, Kaichou comes off as a spoiled, nasty prince who even picks her bodyguards based on their looks, but unlike Tyson, she chooses the ugly ones. Even though she's one of the younger princes, she seems pretty ruthless. She plans to team up with Fugetsu to kill off their siblings during the Succession War, and promises Fugetsu that when she's king, she'll ask her father to spare her. But Kaichou's bratty attitude is all an act. The truth is, she's just pretending to be cold and difficult so her bodyguards will hate her. That way, if they ever have to choose between saving her or Fugetsu, they'll pick Fugetsu. She really cares about her sister, and hates being forced into this deadly competition with her own family. Kaichou eventually confides in Melody using a high-frequency device to communicate with her in Morse code. She reveals her plan to escape the ship with Fugetsu during the banquet, but in order to do that, she'll need Melody's help, along with another guard, Kini. The plan is for Melody to entrance everyone with her flute performance, while Kini helps the twins sneak onto a lifeboat. The escape starts off well, and they make it onto the lifeboat, but as they approach the exit, Kaichou feels something is terribly wrong. Ghostly hands suddenly appear, and she realizes that trying to escape the war means certain death. She urges Fugetsu to use her magic door ability to return to the ship. Fugetsu makes it back through the tunnel, but Kaichou is left behind, and tragically dies. However, Kaichou's guardian spirit beast finally activates its ability, which takes Kaichou's form. This replica of Kaichou opens the door and reunites with Fugetsu, who has no idea that her real sister died on the boat. After the failed escape and Kini's suicide, Kaichou in her Nen form and Melody are interrogated at the Justice Bureau. During this, Kaichou figures out that her guardian spirit beast, called Without You, is formless and only activates when she dies. The beast takes on her appearance and personality, staying with the surviving twin to protect her until she also dies. The copy looks and acts exactly like the original, and no one, not even Fugetsu, can tell the difference. Fugetsu is the 11th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the daughter of Nasubi's 6th wife, Seiko. She's the younger twin sister of Kaichou. Unlike Kaichou, Fugetsu is pretty timid, and struggles to switch from her more innocent personality to a serious one when it comes to the deadly Succession War. She's super attached to Kaichou, and the bond between the two sisters runs deep. As kids, they used to play together at a playground called Magic Worm. One of their favorite games was pretending to travel the world, and Kaichou always let Fugetsu choose where they'd go next. This memory links to Fugetsu's guardian spirit beast, which gives her a teleportation ability that creates a small door resembling the entrance to Magic Worm, which she calls the outgoing door. By crawling through the tunnel behind the door, she can teleport to another location and come out a hatch-like opening. Once Fugetsu closes the door, it becomes undetectable, but she can still go through it as long as she stays in the tunnel. However, if she leaves the tunnel, the return door appears, but only Kaichou can open it. This makes her power a symbiotic type ability. The door shows up once per night, and using it leaves Fugetsu exhausted. After their failed attempt to escape, Fugetsu doesn't realize that Kaichou died on the boat. Since Kaichou's death, Fugetsu's ability has gotten stronger. She no longer needs Kaichou to open the return door, and she's not limited to using her power only once a day anymore. With this power-up, she becomes restless, and very eager to use her ability to protect Kaichou and find a way to escape again. Kaichou becomes extremely worried and meets with Melody, who is confined at the Justice Bureau, to tell her about Fugetsu's condition. Melody arranges for Fugetsu to be interrogated, just so they can pass each other in the hallway. When Melody walks by Fugetsu, she's completely shocked to sense a dark presence around her, with buzzing insects and multiple dark spirits floating behind her. She realizes that Fugetsu's aura is as weak as if she was in Zetsu, and the chaotic rhythm of her heartbeat is attracting evil spirits. Momose is the 12th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the only daughter of King Nasubi's 7th wife, Savanti. On the surface, Momose comes off as a calm, sweet girl who enjoys knitting in her free time. On the first day of the trip, the guardian spirit beasts of all the Kakin princes awaken, and some, including Momose's, appear in Prince Woble's room without the princes realizing. Although parasitic in nature, these beasts take after their host's personality. While many of the other prince's beasts seemed way more cruel, none of them directly attacked Woble's bodyguards, except for Momose's, hinting that she might not be as innocent as she seemed. Momose's Nen beast is a manipulator type, capable of phasing through walls, smart enough to ask questions, and interpret nonverbal answers, like nodding or pointing. Its main tactic is to ask its target if they're free. If the person says no, a tiny version of the beast appears on their shoulder, nagging them until they say yes. Once they agree, the beast implants a small cartoonish-like spider in their ear, and it takes control of them. Momose feels tired after her beast takes over someone, even though she doesn't fully know what it does. Despite her mother favoring her younger brother Miam over her, Momose doesn't seem to mind. When Queen Savanti orders 9 of Momose's guards to be transferred to Miam, reducing Momose's protection to just 6 guards, she agrees without protest. Beneath her obedient attitude though, she seems to actually look down on her mother and Miam, feeling sorry for them because they don't have what it takes to become king. Later, one of Momose's remaining guards sneaks into her room while she's sleeping and strangles her to death. Her body is later placed in a coffin, surrounded by other coffins with Nen inscriptions. King Nasubi mentions that these coffins will be part of the foundation of the Tree of Kakin. Miam is the 13th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the younger of Queen Savanti's 2 kids. Miam is really attached to his pet hamster, and even takes it with him to formal events. He's a fan of video games too, and is often seen with his mother, who clearly favors him over his older sister Momose. When Savanti reassigns Momose's bodyguards to Miam, he's seen clinging to his mother as she explains that he's scared, which is why she wants to protect him, while saying that Momose can handle herself. Hanzo is one of the guards transferred to Miam, where he reunites with Bisky, who had been previously hired as one of Miam's bodyguards, and to whom the young prince has grown really attached to. Miam's guardian spirit beast looks like a dragon, but its full abilities aren't clear yet. Both Bisky and Hanzo notice that it keeps getting bigger over time. The beast's appearance also changes based on Miam's emotions. After Momose's death, it became massive and covered in spikes. His guards theorize that Miam's Nen beast is behind the mysterious barrier surrounding their room. People can leave and make calls from the room, but anyone trying to enter from the outside is transported to an alternate empty room. If someone steps out of the real room, they won't be able to see or hear anything that's going on inside, even if the door is open. But from inside the room, everything seems normal. This all suggests that Miam's Nen beast might use either emission or conjuration. Woble is the 14th prince of the Kakin Empire, and the daughter of Queen Oito, Nasubi's 8th wife. She's the youngest of the 14 siblings, and since she's just a baby, she doesn't really have much of a personality yet, and is usually asleep. Before the voyage, Oito tries to hire bodyguards to protect Woble, in preparation for the upcoming war. Kurapika ends up getting picked, and Oito even lets him hold the baby to show her trust in him. Not long into the trip, they find Woody and 4 of Woble's bodyguards dead, which freaks out Oito and Kurapika, since that meant there was a traitor among them. Kurapika then learns about the seed urn ceremony and the guardian spirit beasts, and starts thinking that Woble's spirit beast might have sensed hostility from Woody, who had killed the other guards, and attacked him based on his killing intent towards Woble. Even though the baby is usually sleeping, she seems to have some kind of instinct for danger. When Vincent, one of Prince Benjamin's soldiers, shows up for guard duty, she suddenly starts crying. Vincent barges into the room after killing one of Woble's maids, and threatens to shoot them. Kurapika quickly asks Oito to trust him, as he activates Emperor Time, and comes up with a plan to transfer Sayerd's Nen ability to her. This way, he can use Stealth Dolphin to steal Vincent's aura. Oito is hesitant, but when Woble suddenly stops crying and reaches out to Kurapika, like she's putting her trust in him, Oito decides to do the same. As for Woble's guardian spirit beast, no one knows what it looks like or what its abilities are, but there's a theory that it might not have a physical form, like Kaichou's, and could be more of an enhancement type ability that helps Woble sense who's trustworthy and who's a threat. Well, that does it for every Kakin prince in the Succession War. I'm thinking about making a separate video, going much deeper into the guardian spirit beast of each prince, but let me know in the comments if this is something you want to see. In the meantime though, get ready for the return of Hunter x Hunter by clicking the video you see on your screen right now to learn about every Dark Continent threat in the series.